guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Dick Norris Buick GMC in sunny Palm Harbor, Florida, because guess what? We have the bad boy. We have the ultimate Sierra GMC pickup truck. This is the 2019 GMC AT4. And obviously when we talk about AT, we're talking about all-terrain, four-wheel drive. So let's talk a little history about GMC. GMC's been around since 1909. Since then, that has been the go-to for General Motors to showcase their truck products. Over the years, they've expanded their lineup with SUVs and whatnot, but they still hold true to the name General Motors Truck Company by producing some really amazing trucks just like this one. Now, this particular AT4, this is gonna go up against your Toyota TRD Pro. It's gonna go up against your Chevy Silverado Trail Boss or your Dodge Ram Rebel. Still, that one that's kind of on another level is that Ford Raptor. But let's go ahead and dive into this first year 2019 AT4. I love the front end of the whole Sierra lineup, especially on this particular model. All blacked out, really think it looks sinister. Full LED lighting, so you have this C-shape LED lighting up here, LED fog lamps, metal bumpers, front and rear. I like the way they're painted black to just blend in with everything. Really like also this housing for the fog lamps. It's got a nice look and it's also functional. Remember, air is gonna hit the front fascia and go out the side. It's got this brushed aluminum look to it, which really makes it look classy and not so blingy with the shiny stuff. That's another thing I like about the AT4. They cut out all the shiny bits from the Denali that we did. Massive front grille area. I think it was smart to change up the color. They went with like a gunmetal, really works well with the black and some of that brushed aluminum, the GMC logo. And then as we drop down, here's another distinctive look of the AT4. All of this is blacked out. You have your red tow hooks and just really across the whole front of this truck, it screams, I'm ready to go all-wheel drive, take it off-road. Love the hoods on the different Sierras. Really powerful lines placed into the hood to give it such personality. And as we wrap around the side, here's where you're gonna see some of those GMC unique features, because GMC is all about angles and whatnot. So if you look at the fender well here, how it is angled out a little, as we drop down, look at all this space. This truck sits on a factory installed 2-inch lift. It's sitting on Rancho monotube shock absorbers, all four corners, and you get these wonderful, specific to this truck, these wonderful 18-inch wheels. I love the design. I love the brushed aluminum. You get these massive off-road tires. That's gonna help make sure that you get through all sorts of terrain and just keep on trucking. Tom, I'm gonna have Tom go ahead and show you the suspension. It's kind of hard to see the Rancho shock absorber because of the upper control arm, lower control arm, and the spring, but I promise you it's there, sitting on that 2-inch lift. That, like I said, it's not dealer installed, that's factory installed. As we come to the side, love the AT4 badging. This one has the 6.2 liter that we all know that you guys love. Naturally aspirated, 420 horsepower, made it to that 10-speed automatic transmission. I like the way that they brought some of the black onto the mirror. I wish, this is a zonk area, I wish they would do a little bit more with the paint, just because, at least in this area, if they want to keep this flat, okay, I'll give them that, but this should all be black. As we go into the cab area, wonderful lines. Love that AT4 badge. You can see the running boards that come on this particular model. And then another thing that's very unique to the cab of the GMC trucks, like I said, are the angles. You have this roof-mounted spoiler, angle cut at the bed, very nice touch. And then as we work our way back, here's where you see more of those angles. I'm gonna have Tom try to show you right here. You can see the top of that Rancho shock absorber, bright red, white shock, and that is really the signature color of the whole Rancho lineup. Many off-roaders for decades have been going to Rancho to get the best in off-road components, and that's why GMC made the right move to go with them. As we swing it around back, this is the crown jewel in all of the GMC trucks. That rear tailgate, 6-position tailgate, really love the look. The badging, the AT4 badge, I like the way that they go with the integrated exhaust into those metal rear bumpers. Another thing that they did new for 2019 is they enlarged the opening for those steel toe boots, and every piece of swinging metal. This, the doors, it's all aluminum. That cuts 220 pounds from the weight of this truck. Now, we showcased this in the Denali video, and I'll put that link at the end of the video, but let's go ahead and just look at the 6-position adjustable tailgate. So you press that top button, there's one. You could then pull it up here and leave that. You could drive the truck. Say you have some tubing or whatnot, some pipes or 2x4s, you could lay those in there and have them sit up against the back here. Another thing that you could do is you could just go full tilt. Bring down the whole tailgate. I like the absorption, how it's a nice slow release. And then here's how you get the rest of the business done. So you're gonna hit that top button again, that drops that portion, and then there's your step. Another nice feature that they do is they give you a nice pull-up bar, so when you're gonna go ahead and get into the back of the truck, you'll hold on to the bar, and then what you'll see in the bed of this truck is massive size. It's got over 70 cubic feet of space. I like the way they have the power outlet right near the back. That's where you're gonna be hooking up your saws, your drills, whatever you need. I love the LED lighting, and I really like all the tie-down locations. You have 6 here on the back, 6 up front, and then you could actually add more, which is even nicer, because that's what it's all about. It's all about hauling stuff in your truck to get where you want to go. Rear power sliding window, that's going to be a no-brainer when you look at this kind of truck. And then when it's time to get out, you hold on to the bar, you come on down, and then to put the bar back, you just go like that, and you could actually put this whole assembly up. If you wanted to put this whole assembly up, something like that, you could do that, or you could put back the individual pieces no matter which way you want to cut it. But if you're ready, let's go ahead, pop the hood, and check out that 6.2 liter V8. All right, guys, here we are underneath the hood of the AT4. That is that tried and true 6.2 liter V8 pumping out 420 horsepower, 460 foot-pounds of torque. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. This does have that dynamic fuel management system. So what that means is, as you're driving, the truck will automatically shut down cylinders to help conserve fuel. Now, if you're wondering what are the fuel ratings for this, 15 in the city, 22 on the highway, you could tow up to 9,400 pounds with your AT4. Remember, on this particular truck, 4x4 is standard. It's got a locking rear differential, hill descent control, and skid plates all underneath the truck. That's how you know that this is nothing but the business when it comes to off-road. If you're buying a truck that they say is off-road and you don't even get skid plates, that's a problem. Especially, you also want that locking rear diff. Let's go ahead though and fire up this V8. One thing I want to point out though before we do, you could actually, if 420 horsepower isn't good enough, you could get a performance intake and exhaust from GMC that bumps the power up even more. But let's go ahead and fire up this beast and see what it sounds like. Alright guys, we're inside the new AT4. I know you're probably saying to me right now, hey Joe, I love off-road trucks, I really want to get one. What's the cost of this one? This one, the way that it's optioned, the way that it sits, is $62,000. Now remember, there's other engines you could go with. You don't have to go with the 6.2, but if you do, that's what you're looking at. And you can still go a little bit higher. Let's see what you get for the price. So on the door panels, I'm going to zonk it because there's a lot of black. One thing I do like is how they tried to use some of that light tan stitching to kind of break it up, give it a little bit of contrast. The zonk for me really is not just how black the door panel is, but that faux carbon fiber look. I wish they would just do like brushed aluminum. How about let's stop with the faux carbon fiber, let's stop with all the plastic and just have some brushed aluminum on those door handles. I think they would look really, really good and be very durable. As we come into the dash area, The nice thing is the dash is very far forward, so it really gives you a lot of space in here. You do have not only one, but two separate glove compartments. So if you have tons of gloves, including rubber ones, you could put them in here, top or bottom or both, whatever your choice is. I do like around the AC vents, there's some nice silver and that contrast stitching. And then all the way across, it's very soft material. I do like overall this material around the infotainment system. I wish that screen was larger. GMC, at this price point, we need to put larger screens. That's a 7-inch screen. I would like to see a 10-inch screen, to be honest with you, especially when you look at that Ram truck lineup. Another thing that I zonk on these is I don't like the black plastic. Too much black plastic. They could have brought this trim and covered more of this up. Now the wonderful news is this is the only fake button. Every single other button does something in this truck. When it comes to the infotainment though, what I do like is that I love the swipe feature, just like a cell phone. I also like the way that they have a trailering package that has checklists and stuff like that. So you could go into your checklist and you could choose what type of trailer that you're going to be towing, say conventional, and then you could say, hey, do I have the hitch securely mounted? Check. Is the trailer connected to hitch and locked? Check. And then say if you're like, oh no, I didn't do that, you just uncheck it to go back. So that's a nice feature. Another thing with this truck is check out all the different camera angles. So I feel like I'm back in the day at Circuit City when I used to work there in college with all the TVs that we had all over the place. But you have so many different camera angles, and you could zoom in, you could zoom out. It's really, really crazy just where all these cameras. And I looked around the truck, you don't see them. I mean, look at, I love the one that you could put on the corner. Each corner of this truck, you could get a different camera angle while you're off-roading, so you could see exactly what the heck are you running over. In case there's some campers that are still just sleeping out in the mud or something, you don't want to run them over. So good to have these different cameras and whatnot for you to utilize. So I do really like that about the whole GMC setup. And then when you put it into gear, it goes right to the camera, which is nice as well. There's reverse. You can have your reverse camera and whatnot. Now, I do like the little toggle switches that they use, and I think that, overall, the style with the silver, not so bad. These seats are heated and ventilated. So you have ventilated, and then you do have fully heated seats as well, so that's a nice feature. Here's where I understand the utility behind it. I just don't like the way it looks. You have a lot of power sources here. You could plug every single thing that you own into this AT4. But I just wish they had a cover or something if you're not using it, because it looks too utilitarian. And I know, yes, this is a truck, but let's get real. People use their trucks for a lot of other things besides just work. You do have wireless charging down here, and here's another zonk for me. Would it kill them to put some type of sliding lid just to cover this up if it's not in use? Very large cup holders. You have a center holder for your cell phone and whatnot. And then you have a really good size overall center console lid. It's a little on the harder side. And when you open it though, it's got tons of room, USB and whatnot. So that's really, really a nice feature. And then the seats. These are unique style to the AT4. There's that tan. If you're wondering why they were putting tan contrast stitching, you got the AT4 embroidery in the back of the headrest. And then overall, it's a pretty supportive seat. It's a little on the firm side, but you know what? It's going to allow you to feel that terrain as you're going through it and really understanding what the truck is doing. Another zonk that I'm going to have to give is no sunroof. At $62,000, it should have at least a regular style sunroof, if not panoramic style. But why don't you come on over to the business end and I'll show you what's going on behind the wheel. All right guys, business end, you're going to have obviously 8-way positional electric seat. I do like the AT4 aluminum badging that they have down here, and I also love the floor mats that GMC puts in. Really shows that truck heritage, that work truck heritage. I think another thing that they do really well is the location of all of what you need to get into and process through your 4-wheel drive. So it's all push button, 4 low, 4 high, auto. You can put it into 2 high, and then you have your trailering and all that good stuff. Overall, steering wheel, it's a little bland, but I like the size. I wish it was a little thicker. I do like the contrast stitching though, inside that tan contrast stitching, and I really like how they use a nice thumb wheel on the controls. I wish more trucks and cars would have the thumb wheel drive rather than all these other buttons. I think it's neat the way they have the grill shape logo right here around the GMC branding. And then overall, very easy to understand dash layout. Now at $62,000, I would like to see some digital information, especially the oil pressure, coolant temp, all that stuff I think should be all digital and you should be able to scroll through it. But you do have a very nice digital screen in the center which you can get through and operate and you know, see all the information that you need to see very, very easily. So that's a nice feature. I am going to zonk the shifter still. They need to do something with this. This is just like Tonka toy plastic. I wish they would do something else with that. Also, it's an option. If you're wondering, hey, how come you didn't show off the cool rear view mirror? It just has a standard mirror here. So no cool camera mirror. That one is an option. Let's go ahead though and check out the back seat. All right guys, back seat time. That's one thing I think that the GMC Sierra lineup does very well. There's lots of room. I feel really good sitting back here. The seats are comfy, and I'm still running into that same problem where the back seats are better than the front seats. Well, as a driver, I want a comfy seat as well. Like the way they brought the tan into the seat, just like the front, full leather backs. You have a nice command center back here with rear AC, your 12 volt and your USB, and these seats are heated back here. I would like to see at this price point ventilated rear seats. Nice brushed aluminum trim, and then overall just very, very comfortable. Power sliding rear glass like I pointed out when I was in the bed of the truck, but I think at this price point it should have front and rear sunroofs. But let's go ahead. Enough talking about the interior. Let's take this one for a spin. Rolling out of Dick Norris Buick GMC. Almost seems like the second time, but obviously it's just the first, right? But we're inside the 2019 GMC AT4. Right away, anytime I get into one of these Sierras, I feel comfortable. Now I know we're not going to beat a dead horse, and I know how many of you feel about the overall interior, and especially compared to say a Ram, but getting into this truck and knowing the layout and feeling good behind the wheel happens immediately every time you get into one of these. And I really think that's an important feature that maybe on some other trucks you don't have. And that's something that I like to point out even in my car reviews. It's nice to feel comfortable right away. That's a good sign. You immediately can feel the lift in this thing. It's got a 2-inch factory lift sitting on those Rancho shocks. I like it. I like being at this height, great visibility, especially over that long hood. It's really well done how they put those nice creases into the hood to give it that extra muscular personality, but it also allows you to really just see the lay of the land as you look out over the hood. Interior space up front, tons of room. Let me go ahead and see how this handles in this right-hand turn up here. So just having it in 2-wheel drive, obviously driving around on the asphalt here. Very nice. I mean, the suspension is so compliant. You don't feel floaty, you feel connected. Let's hear what that 6.2 liter V8 sounds like. On the loud pedal, really has plenty of get up and go, especially with that 10-speed automatic. It's not searching. You don't have to wait like for the big crescendo where it drops into gear and then you're off. It really allows you to project this AT4 very quickly. And you know, if you don't want to go the 6.2 route, you do have other engine options, but like they say, that old saying, go big or go home. And definitely with this AT4, this one is option to go big. Overall, the dash, my biggest zonk is going to be, I wish that there was some digital LED gauges across the top there. I'm fine, and I actually welcome an analog tachometer and an analog speedometer, but at this price point especially, I would like to see some 21st century technology across the top, and maybe something that you could even scroll through, especially when I showed you just how many different camera angles there are on this truck. I would like to see a little bit more variety of information that's easily seen across the top there in nice, beautiful digital font display and readout. But navigating around the streets, very easy to see out the front, the side windows. I love the side mirrors. The reason why I really like them is not only do they give you great visibility, they don't look like billboards that have just been like slapped to the side of the truck, how they are in like some other models of other brands of trucks. So I really like the way they took into consideration the style of the mirror, but also the size of it as well, and it gives you great visibility. Going over this uneven pavement, easy peasy. Into this right-hand bend, I'm gonna slowly roll on the throttle up this hill. I'm telling you, this thing is very, very surprising, the get up and go that it has, and I'm definitely gonna promise you that you're gonna love the sound of that naturally aspirated V8. Now, the only thing that I would really personally add myself is I would check off that performance option box to get the less restrictive exhaust and the less restrictive intake. That's not only gonna give you more power, but it's also gonna really let that V8 do its magic with the sound that I know so many of you love, especially when we talk about other brands that are going EcoBoost engines, but I won't mention that brand. But if you know what I'm talking about terminology, you know what I'm saying already. Going into this right-hand bend, piece of cake. I feel so good, and I apologize that we don't have Rocky Mountains. There's no Rocky Mountains in Florida. I could take you guys through a parking lot and go over some speed bumps really fast, I guess, but that's really not going to showcase what this truck is about. So I will not tell you how great it is off-road, because I can't take it off-road in this area that we live in. But if you live in a state where you have a plethora of different rocky conditions, this thing, I'm telling you, is going to handle it. When you have that 2-inch lift, that Rancho shocks, the skid plates, the locking rear diff, I mean, it's set up for you to go wherever you need to, whenever you need to. And I think that this really is great for GMC to have a vehicle that's going to go up against, like we pointed out, the Silverado Trail Boss, and also the Ram, can't say Dodge anymore, God forbid, but the Ram Rebel, and also the Toyota Tundra TRD. This thing is perfectly positioned for that. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Dick Norris Buick GMC and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been a wonderful day here at Dick Norris Buick GMC. Definitely got to give a huge thank you and a shout out to Adam Norris, Andrew Norris, and the whole Norris family for opening up the dealership and allowing us to get you this AT4 as soon as it came off the truck. This truck coming off the bigger truck. But if these are the types of things you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Check out my different forms of social media. You know what they are. It's all Rady's Rides original content all the time. If you want to get some merch, click the link in the description. Takes you right to Spreadshirt. Of course, we got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. Make sure you check out his Instagram photography page called Mosh Photos on Instagram. So definitely check that out. He's got such an eye for detail that I think that it'll show you the softer side of Tom, which is nice. Which I know we thought there weren't any softer sides because he's just so ripped, but the softer side of Tom. So check that out. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.